Hello, welcome back to Tech Artist 41. This is Tim, and let's get back to drawing. Well, I was working on this last time. I had some issues with my pen tablet display. Let's see if it's working out. And see. Really though. Don't crop, please. Brush. Alright. Layer 21 was the one I was dealing with, yes. Alright, let's erase this real quick. There we go. Well, at least it is working just fine now. I have no clue what happens, but every time it asks for an update, it tends to do that. Okay. I'm just gonna do this. Rounded chin. Then we have to adjust this. Yeah. Mark it there. Just so that it's not too high. Okay. But it at least gives me an opportunity to deal with the size of the ear, how it looks. And voila. I make my ears quite unique in their own sense. But whenever you're looking at an ear, there are four main factors that you need to go within the boundaries. An ear can go above the eyebrow, it just can't go completely too much above the eyebrow, otherwise it looks very, very goofy. And the earlobe, same thing with that. Even though it can, actually the earlobe is right closer to the lips than anything else. But the earlobe can be exaggerated at any point in any time, so. Alright, so there's that. Yeah. No, the delay is quite reasonable this time. I have no clue what went wrong, but it's just what happens with any sort of OS upgrade software. Sometimes things work and sometimes they don't. And sometimes the OS just loves to break it. So, no, it was aggravating me a lot last time. I'm mostly just going to try to finish this time. If you do have any questions, please leave comments down below. I do take them in strides, but just be careful on what you say, please. Okay. This is the hair. I'm doing the hair separately just so that in case I need to edit it, it's not as hard, so. And there we go. No. Not enough in the way I want. So, come on. There we go. This is also another reason why I do this, is kind of having it on a separate layer helps in some way. My pen will always do that with this computer. Okay, good. But it is acting normal. This is normal for me in comparison to what I was dealing with last time. Last time, I have no clue what went wrong, but it was just acting like something else. So. And I kind of just go overboard with the hair because the hair is always the fun part. Even if you don't know how to draw hair, it helps to know. Okay. So, right now I just have numbers, but I know exactly what the numbers are. And if I'm going to be doing the clothing differently as well. Okay, so we bring this out like so. Don't want her to be too thin because then it doesn't look right. There we go. I'm using everything as a guide, not really anything else other than a guide to help me. So here we are. There we go. Alright. And this is just the placeholder right now for that. So now that I have most of what I'm looking for, I go towards the neck. So this, I'm actually just going to draw through everything except for the hand. I need the hand alone. There we go. Erase this. This is also another reason why I do it on multiple layers for this. Haven't done it like this in a while, but hey, it helps when you have multiple things on multiple layers. And how I can do this so casually is the hardest part whenever trying to explain all of this. So that, and then that needs to be okay. So I need to adjust that there like that, and then this right here needs to follow that same sort of look. That's why it's not as pronounced on that side. Alright. The right breast is higher than the left breast. Okay. Just a smidge. It's more of it just adding all the final tweaks. I'll more or less add everything else later on, but it is more squished on the left side because she is lifting up her hand, and that causes the whole body to move in conjunction with that. All about these joints, really. So right here, and I'm just doing this just so that I get the right shape on every aspect of all of what I'm drawing. Sometimes you just have to think of the figure and the shape before you think about anything else, or the figure itself. Okay. Okay, there we go. And then now we have the clothes to deal with. So now that we have that, this is behind everything, so we have that, that's fine. Now we go back to the hair, adjust it accordingly. There we go. Don't want anything to be too much here. There we go. A lot of this is going to be a mix and match of coloring and not coloring, which layer everything's on. But mostly the outline's going to be there in general sense. This is just so that I get the basis down of where I'm putting my outline and not putting my outline. Oops. That's the eraser still. Okay. From here down there, right over there. We do need it to cover just a slight bit. So right here. We do need that to appear. And then to go right here, curve down a bit. And then erase this part. Okay. Technically, okay, let me get rid of that. There we go. So we got that. Kind of like it when it goes between the hands. But I think too much just begs the question on that. Alright, sorry about that. Alright. Alright, let's see. So we got everything here. We got most of it. Just need to get the earring. So now that we're done with all the sketches, most of the character draft, we still have the outfit to draw. Because so far this is what we have, and I'm not going to do a nude piece here. Alright. So there's that. Now, we do add a few functions here. Okay. Let me try something here. Let me turn off the hair for a second, just so that I can see what I'm doing here. And sometimes people just get engrossed in what they're doing and lose track of time. There we go. Slightly. And this is mostly how it would go. And I tend to do things a little bit more detailed than what they should be. Alright, so there we go. There's her very complicated earring. So, let's put her hair back. So we got most of it. Now the last but not least layer. We need her clothing. And yes, we need to put clothing on her. And there are multiple different ways to do this. For many different people, they have many different techniques, all that stuff. I tend to go in the more loose way, but I found out that there's an easy way to do this that makes it very luxurious. At the same time, I do need to turn off some layers like the hair just to see what I'm doing. And I don't need to draw every single line. No, that is for the viewer to see themselves. So there's that. Okay. I do like that look. Yeah, that looks good. Alright, now to do the same thing on the other side, which is a little bit tricky. The easiest way to do it would be to do this. Take a marquee or any sort of thing, take your stylus and just draw around it, copy it, paste it, transform it, reverse the height to negative, and it's flipped around. So all you need to do is take it on the other side, adjust it for the side, because it's not in the right place. And the way I have it is quite different, so it's really hard to see on this. Right. That's the shoulder. Never mind. Sorry. My brain's a little bit dead. Alright, so that's that. Because you don't see much of the shoulder on that. So I would still need to do some adjustment, but it's far less than what I would have had to start with. So I can just erase what I don't need. But then it doesn't match up with what I'm trying to do here. So it's kind of hard to measure on that. Also, what I'm trying to see right here is the size of the breast itself. So right here, still a little bit too big. Need to be a little bit more generous there. A little bit higher, but the reason why I have it lower is it's being squished, so for that proportionally to drop down a little bit. No, that's right. Okay. It just seems wrong, but hey, it's right in one way or another. But yeah, no, I do need to adjust this. So layer 25 just needs to be deleted. And I'll just keep it on layer 24. So follow the curve. So if I were to do this the same way, I would go upon these lines. So let's start with the easiest part, is getting the actual flow of the arm. So the flow of the arm should be right around here to here. So I need to adjust that a bit. No, I am changing the dress a little bit as I go, but yeah. There we go. Looks a lot better, sort of. Still a lot of fixing pins in my case. But this is what anybody will do, is they'll finesse their art. So I mostly just work on it piece by piece, and sometimes I have to adjust certain areas to get them looking just right. So let's see, collarbone there. Let's see, layer 24. It's right here. So right here, here. So that is this part right here being displayed. And as it's broken up, this would have to go the other way. Right there. And then as it meets this side, this part will actually have to go something like this. It'll act in a different way. And sometimes messing around with the symmetry, by it being slightly less symmetrical, it can also make it so that your artwork pops out as well. So yeah, no, that'll do. Since she is basically putting up her hand and it's moving her whole part of the chest, so no, that'll work. Alright, and now the last but not least, the bra and the rest of the dress. So let's deal with the rest of the dress right here. So we do this and this. Not really much there, but the next step would be just getting the bra right. And I did all this frilly stuff, and I'll keep it in there, but first is first. Just follow the lines of what I did, and it will actually be a lot easier to... So I started doing this, and then, yeah, I'm not very good with other certain sides, because in Photoshop or any other program, I know you can rotate all this stuff, but yeah, erase that. Just, I don't like rotating any of this while I'm dealing with streams or anything like that. And then we put this right here. You can put either a single line, a double line, stitches, and it'll work out just fine. But sometimes you just need that extra kick just to make everything look just right. And also, it makes it easier when you're dealing with the correct layer you're erasing. There are programs that can deal with that and all that. And I more of just draw things out, erase them, and go forward. Alright, well, number 27, and then... But if you do have any questions, I can answer them if you wish to ask them while I'm doing this stream. I don't mind taking them. It may take me a moment to answer them, but ask them if you will. Just finishing the bra right here. And I just decided to do a single line and be done with it. Let's see. We got that, and single line, just draw it down. Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't come out the way you want it. kind of have to just hit the undo. There we go. And then the last part, I decided to do a bow-like area right here too. So let's erase some of that. And then just put that in between. Sometimes it's better to erase, draw the line, then erase again. Then you can just get everything the way you want it. And the bow doesn't have to be too complicated, just a few loops, and it should be done. And voila! She's almost there. The last step, let me turn on the hair again, is to go back through the layers. So just so that I don't make any more mistakes or add anything else to it, take off that. So that's how she looks for the most part. Layer 26. Bring that down. Okay. So now that we have our outline layers, we group them together. I'm going to duplicate this just so that I have a copy of the group and I can just keep it for later, just in case I do make a mistake that it's so far gone that I kind of mess up. So the next part, I just go back through and adjust where I need to actually take out the lines. So we're dealing with layer 24? No, we are dealing with layer 21. Yeah, layer 21. Alright. And then I just go back and erase the parts that need to be erased, just so that when I do draw it, well, when I do fill it in with color and all that, everything is ready. And then I can merge all the layers together. This is just post-processing. But you can see all the many different lines and all the many different parts of the sketch that need to actually be, well, fixed. So let's see, like right here, down here is a whole mess. So this part, I'm just erasing every aspect of all the extra lines that I do not need. And the thing about this is on layer 23, right? Yeah, layer 23. There are some lines that I kind of need to add, and then others that I just need to just get rid of. So if I just get rid of all that, that makes it a little bit easier for me to just fill it in with one color. And you don't want to have so many overlapping lines and things like this unless you know what you're doing. Because it can get very, very complicated if you just add too much. Sometimes people are overwhelmed by what is added upon it. So, and to do this correctly, I actually have to erase the hair. And you have to make sure you erase the correct line so that it overlaps just right. And there we go. Same thing with the eyes. You could just put a mask over all of this, but if you want clean lines and all that stuff, you do have to go through the time and erase what you need to erase. But there are certain things that need to be added, like right here. Kind of didn't add a bit of that. And on layer 23, this needs to be a little bit more together. Just refining the lines, adjusting it, and making sure everything works. But there we go. Alright. And see how much better that looks? It actually looks like it's going through her fingers and all of that. So, and the way you need to do it is making sure everything goes through in a specific way. So, let's see, right here, same thing. You have to adjust all the fingers and all that stuff. And sometimes when you're doing anything like that, you do need to be careful. Because if you add way too much, even the slightest bit can make your whole image look very, very awkward. So, sometimes less is more. So, with certain things like hair, you can actually add you can just make the line thicker. So you can just go on here and then just make the line thicker, or make that a certain color. Same thing with this, but the reason why I don't add more onto this is for the fact that it would interfere with all that I'm trying to do there. So I tend to avoid certain areas where it crosses the section of where you're actually trying to draw or trying to intersect any of these things. And to make someone older, you do put lines under their eyes, just as one of the intents. Actually, that adds to her, so I'm going to leave those lines there. She looks a little bit more wise with them. Alright, so let's see. Let's deal with layer 21. And come on. Oh, right. That's layer 23. Never mind. But it does help to have that here, but you have to make it longer. And just go on and off to see which layers that you need to erase. Layer 21. Just that. Layer 23. Let's see. There we go. Sort of. Still going to have to erase a little bit on there. There we go. Back between the layers again. Okay. There we go. But bit by bit, every ounce of it. Okay. And then you work on fixing imperfections and all that stuff. So. Alright, so let's continue with layer 21. Actually, it's layer 24. Alright, so now that we have all that ready to go, erase this part right here. Don't need that line anymore. And we do still need to adjust the arm because the arm looks out of place. So the arm has to go in, and then out, and then in again. And then we erase this part right here. Always bits and pieces, needing a finesse look at it. There we are. Alright, so she is on the way. She's almost done. Just a few more tweaks, and she'll be ready. So usually right here, a little bit of a tattoo, which are put on a separate layer just so that I can probably impose it on the skin. Let's see. Let's go with this. There we go. Nice. And I'm not going to write all of it. It's just there. It's there for decoration. So I'm not going to be very specific on it. If you want to read what it says, better have a magnifying glass. But it looks neat. I wanted her to at least have it on her arm, because she can use magic, and sometimes the witch always has that as a mark of sorts. And technically there are some elves that are called witches. And we'll call this Witch's Mark, or Witch's Curse mark. There we go. Alright, we'll add that right here. We'll just leave that as it is. So now that we have everything pretty much cleaned up, we just need to clean up certain areas over here, and I should be done with that. Okay. So there are certain things on layer 27. No, not layer 27. Layer 24. Yep, layer 24. So I need to get rid of all of that. And because it's right here, I'm going to ignore it. And same thing right here. Just take it out. So right here, everything's in such an odd area that it kind of looks odd, but it is correct. Alright. Swatches, platforms, pastels, tail. Alright, now that we have everything ready and set, the only thing that I need to do is turn off this for right now, because I'm going to adjust that. So, I'm going to group this. Not yet. I'm going to clean up these lines right here because they are bothering me. Oops. And then go back to black. Oops. My bad there. Okay. So we're good there. Lovely. Alright, so we got that. Got that. Anything else that we might need to do? I do not think so. Alright. So we are going to group the layer and then erase some areas too, but merge group. There we go. Alright. So now that we do that, we take away this. Erase some areas here. But it also makes it so that everything is just one simple layer. Okay. There we go. And the finer details can be worked out later, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. Alright, so we got most of it. Pretty much all right there. So the only thing that I'm probably going to do is this. Because why not? Add a little bit here. And here. Okay. Then we erase this part. Everything comes out to be a little nicer in the look department. Yes. And it looks a lot better. Good, good. Alright. Well, except for this area right here. We just adjust this, bring it down, bring it out, and then just erase this part. There we go. Some areas just have to be erased. Doesn't have to be perfect. I can adjust everything after. So the next part is the color, which we always choose brown. She's more on the pale side. So we'll call group 2 outline. And that'll be our main outline for the whole thing. So this goes above everything in the image. Alright. And now, before I do that, there we go. Let's fill in the character. So for this, it does not have to be very specific. All I'm doing is coloring in and all that. I will need to add her belly button in later, but for right now, that's fine. And then her arm as well. So her arm, whatever she has on her skin will be self-imposed later. So there's that. And that's just the base layer of her whole body. We do need to add it on her arm as well. Okay. Alright. So there we go. Just need to get the ear, and then for that you don't have to do very much at all. You can just leave it like that. I will adjust this later. Actually, let me adjust the outline right now. But now that I have the base layer for the skin, let's see. It's right here. Too thick. Too thick. This is a little bit thinner. There we go. Here. And right here. There we go. But I'm just adding tweaks as I go. But there we are. And always best to just erase certain areas like this. This doesn't really need to be so complicated. So we more or less just get rid of certain lines, because they are not needed, and the information will just be filled in our heads when we see it. There we go. Alright. So now that we have the figure, we're dealing with the color. So